Hi guys, Jenna Ellis here for Primal 7 Physical Therapist. What we're going to talk about today is a couple of the questions that you guys sent us over the internet, Facebook, and Instagram. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a demo with these two questions. These two questions I kind of lumped together because they do kind of play off each other hand in hand. So let's go over the questions first. The first one is from Instagram, and it says, I have tight hips and glutes and a lot of stretches that aren't very accessible for me because of my knee injuries. I'm wondering if there's any way to use the Primal 7 unit to approximate the kind of stretch I would get into from a pigeon pose. And the second one here is from a Facebook group member, and it says, how can we relieve tight hips when dealing with the piriformis and lordosis in the lower back? Well, thank you guys for those questions. There is actually a few ways that you can address the piriformis with and without the Primal 7 unit. So actually coming up in the next few weeks, we have our lower back series being launched. And in that series, in the end of restoration in lower back, is actually a figure 4 stretch in and out of the band that will help you kind of improve your hip mobility and get that piriformis a little bit more stretched out. With respect to lordosis, lordosis is curving of the lower back inwards. So like this. This gets bowed in. From here, with increased lordosis, what happens is our hips like to tip forward. Sort of if you were pouring out a glass of water, the water and the glass is tipping forward, so our hips are tipping that water forward there. That can create some increased hip flexor tightness and quadriceps tightness. So what I would start out first with is stretching out the hip flexors and the quadriceps. Make sure you're holding it for 30 seconds and repeating at least 3 to 5 times. If you'd like to see how we have done our hip flexor and quad stretch, they're actually in our hip and knee programs in restoration, which we'll link at the bottom of this video. Another good way that you can start to stretch out your piriformis. Let's start with out of the band first, which is what I would suggest specifically if you have any knee issues. So I'll show you 3 little stretches that you can do. The first one is a figure 4 stretch. The second one is a figure 4 stretch pulling through the window to get a little bit more motion out of the hip. And then the last one actually is without a figure 4, but we're pulling the knee up and over towards the opposite side. So the first one we'll do is figure 4. So with that figure 4 stretch, we're just slowly trying to open up the hip and kind of feel out where our range of motion is. Again, we're holding it for 30 seconds, repeating it 3 to 5 times on each side. For a little bit more of a stretch, we'll go through figure 4 stretch, pull through the window for a little bit bigger stretch. Again, with that one, make sure that you're only going within your limits. We want things to feel like a stretch, but not like things are tearing apart. Go until you feel a gentle pull in the back of your bottom or in your hip. The last one here we'll go over, I'll show you on both legs so you can get a view on both sides. What this one is you'll pull the knee up and over towards your opposite shoulder. We'll start with the left leg first. You're going to pull your left knee over towards your right shoulder. Then with your right hand, you're going to put it on your shin and gently rotate that shin bone down towards the floor. That one actually is approximating a little bit closer to what a pigeon pose would be in yoga, but you're not weight bearing on it. You're using your arms just to gently pull over and kind of use your own resistance here. Again, you don't have your full body weight on top of it like you would in a traditional pigeon pose. So again, with this one, holding for 30 seconds, repeating 3 to 5 times. Up to you on how far you would like to go. Again, just a gentle stretch. The big one here is the next one in the Primal 7 unit. Now this one is a little bit more advanced and it requires a little bit more leg strength. So if you would like to do this, make sure you're slowly building up to it and working on the other stretches first. And then you can try this one after you've gotten a little bit more flexible and you can get into the band. So that is the stretch in the band. Make sure that when you're doing this, you keep your abs nice and tight and you come into your primal lean first. Then cross your ankle over your knee and sit back into that squat. When you do this, you'll feel a big stretch in the back of your hip. Also, when you're doing this, make sure you keep your abs nice and tight and you're not bending too far forward. We'll actually have a demo of this in our lower back series coming up to be released in the next week or so with instruction and follow along on how to do this exercise. This one is actually in our Proga video as well, which is yoga with the Primal 7 unit. And we can link this at the bottom of the video also if you would like to follow along in that one. Again, thank you so much for your questions. If you have any issues with them at all, please contact us and we will try to get back with you as soon as possible. Hope you guys have a great day. Keep up the good work.